I would like you to take on a role whilst you listen to my speech. You are the board of directors of the Football League Club Fulham. Your coach, or manager as they are titled in the UK, Roy Hodgson, has recently departed to take over the vacant position at Liverpool. I am an agent for the manager of newly promoted Blackpool, Ian Holloway. Gentlemen, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to talk to you and explaining why you should give serious consideration to appointing this man, Ian Holloway, as your new manager. Looking at Roy Hodgson's achievements here at Fulham, it's obvious that you're taking your club up a step on the exponentially steep curve of the ladder of football in England. Until he took up the position here at Craven Cottage, your club was many that were languishing towards the bottom part of the Premier League, constantly struggling to survive in that sharp descent. As you'd be well aware, membership of the Premier League is immense, and losing it can be catastrophic for clubs. Just look at the demise of Leeds, Southampton and Charlton, who have all recently languished in the bottom third of the league. You'll also be aware that promotion to clubs that are currently in the Championship in the playoff game, which is the one-off game at the end of the season, is often referred to as the £90 million match, because those are the revenue streams that are generated from that one game. And the coach of the team who was successful in that game last season was my client, Ian Holloway, with his economy class team, Blackpool. The total transfer fee of the whole of his Blackpool team was £500,000. Promotion was worth 180 times the value of this team. My belief in the performance of this team would make him the leading candidate for the role at Fulham. First of all, let me remind you of Ian's playing career. He started out as a junior at Bristol Rovers, where he was always an enthusiastic and not completely unskilled third-tier player. And then Rovers took on as a coach Gerry Francis, the ex-England captain from your near neighbours Queen's Park Rangers. Once Gerry Francis arrived, Ian's career took a gigantic leap forward. So impressed was Gerry Francis with Ian Holloway at Ragbag Rovers, as he referred to him, he made him the captain of the team, and they won the championship of the division. When Gerry Francis came to take over Queen's Park Rangers as a coach, he took Ian Holloway with him, and established himself as a hard-working midfield dynamo in the Premier League. Never sat in the River Wye. But suffice to say that eventually Ian returned to his first love, Bristol Rovers, via several other clubs, and was appointed player manager. And his no-nonsense approach to the game led to some players leaving, and others, such as your own star, Bobby Zamora, being given his break in league football. Under Holloway, Rovers played an exciting brand of attacking football. But towards the end of his first season in charge, when they appeared to be racing away, current Premier League player Jason Roberts' goal scoring left him. Didn't score in any of the last 10 games, and Rovers missed out. The following season, the board reduced the budget because they'd given everything for that one push, and the players became disgruntled. And Ian, being the honest man that he was, resigned from the post and headed back to Queen's Park Rangers as coach. Gained immediate success here at Rangers and took them to promotion in his first season. And it was at about this time that he became famous for some of his post-match comments. I'd just like to refer you to a couple of them. A very short one. And he said, "I believe in what I'm doing totally. And once people speak to me, they do too. I could sell snow to Eskimos." You probably could. But perhaps the most famous quote of Ian's was after a really awful match that Queen's Park Rangers won against Chesterfield. And it was pretty ugly. So he thought he'd use an analogy that men would understand. As he said, To put it in gentleman's terms, if you've been out for the night and you've been looking for a young lady and you pull one, some weeks they're good looking, some weeks they're not the best. Our performance today would have been not the best looking bird, but at least we got her in the taxi. She wasn't the best looking lady, but we ended up taking her home. She was very pleasant and very nice. But thanks very much, and let's have a coffee. Do you understand what I mean? And the commentator shook his head and said, no, I think you're in trouble with Mrs. Holloway. But that's enough of Ian's quirky humour and these analogies. He fell out with the Italian-based Queen's Park Rangers board, who got into a lot of financial strife, and took up the manager's position at Plymouth Argyle. And again, he led the club to promotion and consolidated them at a higher level. And then he was sold out by Leicester City. And that is a black mark on his CV. He didn't succeed at Leicester, failing to stop him from going down, and was put on gardening leave. And in that time, he became a TV pundit and became very well respected for his critical analysis of the game. After a year, in which time he said he'd painted the house several times and built lots of chicken sheds, he was offered a position at Blackpool. And as part of that contract, he was offered a bonus payment if he kept them in the division. There was no thought at all about Blackpool getting promotion. But as the season wore on, his influence on his team grew, and the results reflected that. And an amazing late run of 13 games, in which they won 12 and drew the other one, took them to the promotion playoff final, which they so memorably won at New Wembley Stadium against Cardiff, 3-2, in one of the most exciting games that's ever been seen. And Ian's comments after the game probably reflect his attitude, whereby he restated that any player who gave him 100% effort would always win over a player that had more skill, but not the effort. It was that ethic that was installed by Jerry Francis at Ragbag Rovers that Ian's taken on throughout his career, both as a player and as a manager. Now, I've prepared a chart here for you, which I'll hand around. I'm not going to try showing it on the screen because I know it doesn't show up very well. It shows his record as a manager. And he's won a good percentage of his games as a manager, and certainly his loss record is very good. Now, gentlemen, I hope that by outlining Ian's career, both as a player and a manager, you have an appreciation of what I believe is such a good fit for you, your vacancy. His ethics of honesty and hard work are exactly the same ones that Roy Hodgson brought to Fulham and help your team succeed. Ian's profile in the game is also fitting to a team with the ambition to break into the higher echelons of the Premier League. Teams such as Everton, Bolton and Blackburn who expect to play European football every season. Ian's former teammate at Bristol Rovers, Tony Pulis, has shown at Stoke City what an unfashionable team can achieve with hard work, careful planning and application. I'd urge you to ensure that Ian Holloway is one of the coaches you interview for your vacancy. Once you meet him face to face, you'll know he's the only man for the job. Fulham and Ian Holloway. It's the perfect fit. Thank you, gentlemen.